I realize art is sort of a catharsis for so many problems that we have. Art is always the voice of the voiceless. Not very many people know how to say these things in an entertaining way or in a calm way. And so the issue of politics, if you come to Uganda, it's a very sensitive area, very sensitive area. You don't just say things, but with my art as a spoken word artist, poetry is such a huge metaphor. You can hide your anger in there, you can hide your strengths in there, you can hide whatever is wrong with this country and its leaderships in there, other than saying it directly. And when you say directly, you are licensed. But with poetry, there's something called poetic license. We are free to say whatever we want to say because it's art. So how does art fit into this scene? It's in the fact that there's no boundaries with art. There's no boundaries with art, and with art you can get to actually speak to every individual accordingly. With politics, there are so many political jargons that not so many youth are interested in. Not so many youth are interested in. We're so indifferent about what's happening in this country. But then when you bring it in an artistic way, when you bring it in a way that is entertaining, if I put up a show and say, you know, I'm going to do some dance and then some poetry, and then people will want to come through and listen to it. But then if you put another conference, just another conference, I'm not saying geopolitics conference is off. I'm just saying with youth and the discussion on politics, it's tough to just have people making speeches. So art has been known to settle issues, to bring out issues in a way that everybody, even a child, even a youth, even somebody who's not really interested in the subject can pay attention because it's entertaining. Nobody can tell your story better than you. You've been through it, you have seen it, you have grown in it, and you know it better. While the other person is second or third person, they can decide to change it in any way. They can manipulate it in any way. Why it is important for us to tell the African story, I'll speak from my perspective as a born of 1995. We were born at a time when our parents were very excited about this whole English speaking language, this whole education, you know, thing. Go to school, come back and speak to me in English. Go to school, come back and why are you speaking to me? I'm a Luo. Why are you speaking to me in Levacholi? You know, haven't I paid school fees for you to be in school and, you know, learn? So, even in our curriculums, what we are taught is not the African story. The Canadian prairies. Why should I know about these things? Why am I not learning about some, you know, the River Nile in depth? Yes, it's there, but they're not really issues that are even put in our exams and things like that. The African story is a reminder of our heritage, who we are, where we come from. If I wasn't bothered about my heritage, probably, I wouldn't know my language right now as a born of 1995 because my parents wanted me to know English. And so the African story is us preserving our cultures. It's us preserving our tribes, our different languages, and just being proud of it. Just a slight reference to hair. If the white people can have urban hair, red hair, all these different colors of hair, why should the African only have one story and yet we have such a heterogeneous society, different cultures, and all those cultures cannot be explored by a foreigner? They have their own cultures to talk about. They have their own politics to talk about, and that's why it is important to tell the African story by African storytellers. There is that issue of where one person wants to do everything. I've forgotten the one word for it. The camera director wants to be the actor in his movie, wants to be the sound guy in his movie, wants to be everything. People don't want to give out different roles. And also it still goes back to funding. The arts has very limited funding, and honestly you cannot blame a director for having a limited crew. But then where is the source of that funding? The arts is so ignored by the government. I have a whole story on that time when COVID was happening. Entities got money, but the poetry circle and so many other art circles had issues. But also, it's not only the government to blame. Many artists are working without registration. If you're not registered, who is going to help you? If you're not registered as an artist, who is going to want to put money where they cannot track it, where they cannot trace it? No one is just going to give you money if you don't have an account if they don't know who you are, if you're not registered. So also artists should go back to branding themselves and things like that. But then, if there is a way we could educate people to understand art, if there was a way the way art was taught in school was different, if there was a way we were not saying science is more important than art, if there was a way our parents tell us go be a lawyer, go be whoever, if there was a way all these talents were cultivated from childhood, maybe by now we would have people that are very talented in this artistry. Money. Art strives with money. Art strives with money. So the more people you educate, the more people you make sure really know what they're doing with art, because we have so many people grappling. People just who wake up and say, now I want to be an artist. So if we cultivated it from childhood, if we made children think that Bambi, art is really important from childhood, if we made the curriculum, education curriculum maybe better, then if we stopped ignoring the arts, then maybe that way the arts would be a stronger entity.